Welcome to 5 Truth Singles. This host story is from Audrey Kearns and was recorded December 8th, 2013. The theme of the evening was Elephant in the Room, stories of ignoring, confronting, or being that thing no one wants to talk about.
So anyway, I wrote a show this year, which I also did at the Fringe Festival called Obsessively Okay. I've thank you, Laura, low spectrum OCD and anxiety disorders and all that kind of shit. And I did it in May, and I just did a 4-week run with Mr. Stephen Cragg and his show last November. And in my show, I talk about this person and something that happened to me that led me to have a really bad anxiety episode. And that person's one of our storytellers tonight because it happened at a Star Trek convention. So this is a story about Garrett that he does not remember because he meets thousands of people a year.
Is this why I'm here?
Yes. So it's the mid-90s, Garrett.
Okay.
You're a handsome young man on Star Trek Voyager. I still love you, honey. And so it was it's not bad. It's actually you're a knight in shining armor in this story.
Oh, good.
Yes. And so I go to my very first science fiction convention. I've never gone to one before, but I've always been a big fan. And at that time in the mid-90s, Voyager was my favorite show. And Brian and I hardly had any money at this time. I mean, believe it or not, in Orlando, it's very hard to make a living as an actor. and so we lived week to week, and so we went to this convention. I think it was an FX convention. I'm not sure if that's what it's called, or what it was called or not, or MegaCon. It may have been MegaCon. But anyway, we go to this convention, and Voyager cast is going to be there signing autographs for $20. And I'm like, oh my God, I've never gotten an autograph. I was getting really starstruck. I was like, awesome. So we go to the convention, and we pay $20 to get in, and which was a lot of money in the 90s, especially for me and Brian, And I thought the $20 covered everything, all the autographs, right? But so we go in, and it's the first time I've seen people in cosplay. There are stormtroopers. There are these homemade Borg costumes. These people brought their own alcoves and put them on the wall, and would walk around the convention and then hook themselves up to it to regenerate, and then unhook themselves and walk around more. It was awesome. Nice. Yeah.
Regeneration. Overweight or
yeah, but they had electronics and everything. It was really super cool, and they were big. So we go over to the autograph area, and it's okay, so I got another $20. I was like, Brian, I made a mistake. It's $20 to get these autographs. And he's like, okay, that's fine. And he doesn't stand in line with me, Brian, because I want to take pictures with all the cast members. And he's like, I'm going to stand over there. And I was like, what? He was embarrassed to stand with me in the Star Trek line. And he tells me I have a zoom lens, that he's going to take a picture. Yeah. He tells me I have a zoom lens.
I did not have a zoom.
You lied to me.
Well, what I have was a disposable camera.
So I go up, the first table is Garrett. And, Brian had surprised me that morning with a $30 Star Trek encyclopedia. And so that, to add to the price, that was really expensive. And I had decided in that moment, I'm going to go to every science fiction convention forever and collect autographs in this encyclopedia. And, flash forward, that hasn't happened because they keep releasing a new one every year, and I can't keep up with it. But so I go up to the first table, and I'm really excited, kid in the candy store, and I say hi to Garrett, and he says hi, and he signed my encyclopedia. He was like, yeah, and exchanged pleasantries, and then we turned around, and I was like, he's over there, my boyfriend, and so we're looking 20 feet away to Brian, smiling, and then I go to the next table, and as I go to the next table, I kind of see in my peripheral vision Garrett stand up and do this to the woman that was next to him. I guess she was your wrangler, maybe collecting the money or something like that. And I'm not going to, since this is being recorded, I'm not going to mention the next person's name. Okay. So I go up to the next person, and he has headphones on, and he's just staring at me this actor is really just glaring at me, and I got really nervous, and I'm like, oh, hi, can you sign my encyclopedia? And it felt like an eternity, but it was probably only 3 seconds. He's like, well, wouldn't you rather me sign a headshot? And I looked at him, I said, well, I just got this encyclopedia, and so I'm going to start collecting autographs in it, and blah, 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 blah. And he stares at me again, and he's like, so you don't want a headshot? And I'm thinking, oh, am I insulting him for not getting his headshot? And I was like, I really want my book signed. He goes, listen, it's $20 whether I sign my headshot or I sign your book. And then he just stared at me, and then everything came to me. I was like, it's $20 per autograph. I didn't get it because it was my first convention. It's not. And so what you had done is told
not charge you.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
yeah. And that was, he saw me walk away like an idiot, and the woman stood
She
up.
got up to try to get it, and I told her, don't ask for money.
Yeah. Isn't that sweet? Like, he could tell, like, I didn't know it was. And so, I'm so nervous. I just give him my $20, my only $20 I have, because I
To the other actor.
To the other actor, because I was. You see what happens?
The one that's really mean to you gets your money.
Yeah. That's what happens in this business, man. You got to be mean to get your money. Nice guys know. And so I gave him my last $20, and he signed it, and we took this really awkward picture, and everything. And I looked for the pictures today. I wanted to have like some props and everything, but I could not find. I know I have them in storage or somewhere. So I just turned around and went to try to find Brian, and I was about to cry because to me, and this is not how this guy meant it, but to me, it was a metaphor for my life. I failed at this. I fucked this up. I never can get anything right. Everybody thinks I'm stupid at this whole convention right now, and I was about to have an anxiety attack because I've like I said, I've anxiety issues, and so I'm walking towards Brian, and I'm trying to make it to Brian before I start crying, and then I feel a tap on my shoulder, and I turn around, and it's Garrett. And you remember none of this, do you? I could be making this all up. You're the one. I'm the liar. And I turn around, and it's Garrett, and I'm like, what the fuck? Because I was surprised. So he had come out. You had figured out what happened because you saw him get mad at me. Yeah. And I walked away, and he tapped me on the shoulder, and he said, hey, I just saw what happened, and I want you to know that he's really a nice guy. And I just looked at you, and then you're like, listen, I understood that you didn't get what was going on, so that's why I didn't charge you. And this guy is a, do you know who I'm talking about?
No.
Okay.
I'm so
Name. I can't, I'm not going to. I'll tell you all this.
She's not going to be in our storytelling.
And then you said, I don't know if you were just making this up, you said, look, he's a real stickler for the rules, and and I think he was just really mad, he probably thought you were trying to get away with something, but I know you didn't, and please don't walk away thinking that we're like this. I mean, yeah, and then all of a sudden Brian appears because I was talking to a guy. He didn't want to stand by me earlier, but all of a sudden Brian started going, hey, And so I said thank you. You went back to your seat. I still cried. I still had my anxiety attack. It wasn't as major as what could have happened. But I did, just because, like I said, at that time, I mean, so long ago, that was a metaphor for I thought that meant that I was bad. And so the last 2 months, I've been talking to him, planning this show, and the whole time it's like, I'm keeping something for you, because this, I wrote about this in my play. It actually shaped part of my future, of my struggle with anxiety and OCD and stuff like that. And so, like I said, I had to say it because he's my elephant in the room. But also, there's a little moral to the story here: is you guys be nice. You never know what kind of day somebody's had. You go get your coffee, you go to the store. You don't know what the people around you have been through that day. You don't know that some of the experiences that make up that person's life. And one word can really change a person's path in life. And it takes less energy to be nice than it does to be mean.
Yes.
And if that guy could have just been a little more gentle with me, yes, I still would have thought I was a failure. I will say that. But he would have at least, I wouldn't have cried. And so Garrett, thank you so much for being such a kind soul.
Aww.
And taking...